Okay, this video is going to be focused on solving problems that revolve around GDP. So we're going to calculate nominal GDP, real GDP, GDP deflator, percentage change, so forth. So in this example, we have quantities and prices in 2000 and in 2001 and 2005. So quantities that we produced in 2001, we produced 4 goods. We produced 9 of good 1, 50 of good 2, 24 of good 3, 10 of good 4. And the prices for those goods were 5, 6, 16, and 21. In 2005, we produced 12 of good 1, 48 of good 2, 22 of good 3, and 20 of good 4. And prices were 8, 20, 10, and 19. Okay, so for part A, I want you to find nominal and real GDP for 2001 and 2005, using 2005 as the base year. So I want nominal GDP for 2001, real GDP for 2001. Nominal GDP for 2005, real GDP for 2005. And we're using 2005 as the base year. Part B, I want you to find the GDP deflator in 2001 and 2005. So fill in these numbers for me. And then lastly, for part C, find the percentage change in all three. So I want to know how much did nominal GDP grow by between 2001 and 2005? How much did real GDP grow by between 2001 and 2005? And how much did prices change between 2001 and 2005? So go ahead and fill these in. So pause the video, and when you're finished, go ahead and hit play, and we'll go through the answers. Okay, to solve for nominal GDP, remember we take quantities in the current year times prices in that year. So we're going to take quantities in 2001 times prices in 2001. That'll go here. Then we take quantities in 2005 times prices in 2005, and that goes here. So for real nominal GDP in 2001, we take 9 times 5 plus 50 times 6 plus 24 times 16 plus 10 times 21. And if you go through and solve for that, you should come up with $939. So we produced $939 worth of stuff in 2000 using prices from 2001. Or excuse me, in 2001 using prices from 2001. For 2005, we used quantities in 2005 times prices in 2005. So we take 12 times 8 plus 48 times 20 plus 22 times 10 plus 20 times 19. And if you solve that, you should come up with $1,656 or $1,656. So using values of 2005, we produced $1,656 worth of stuff in 2005. Remember, for real GDP, we take quantities in that year times prices in the base year. And we said 2005 is our base year. So to find real GDP in 2001, we take quantities in 2001 times prices in 2005. So to find real GDP in 2001, we take 9 times 8 plus 50 times 20 plus 24 times 10 plus 10 times 19. And if you solve that, you should come up with $1,502. So taking values in 2005, or the purchasing power of stuff in 2005, we created $1,502 worth of value in 2001, assuming values in 2005 for those goods. For real GDP in 2005, we take prices in the base year, so prices in 2005 times quantities in that year, 2005. So we take quantities in 2005 times prices in the base year, which is 2005. So you take 12 times 8 plus 48 times 20 plus 22 times 10 plus 20 times 19. And if we do that, we should come up with $56 worth of stuff. So just like we said before, real GDP and nominal GDP always equal in the base year. Okay, so those two things are always going to be equivalent in the base year. Okay, and that's because the math is the same. 12 times 8 plus 48 times 20 plus 22 times 10 plus 20 times 19. So that's part A, is we have all of this. For part B, we want to find what is the GDP deflator in 2001 and 2005. Or if you remember, our GDP deflator is nominal GDP divided by real GDP times 100. So the the GDP deflator in 2001 is going to be nominal GDP in 2001, which is 939, divided by real GDP in 2001, which is 1502, and we multiply that by 100. And if you do that, you should get 62.5. For 2005, we take nominal GDP in 2005, which is 1656, divided by real GDP in 2005, which is 1656, times 100. That equals 100. So again, real GDP equals nominal GDP in the base year, and the GDP deflator in the base year always equals 100. Okay, for part C, find the percentage change for all of these. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to erase this part right here where I'm going to do the work. So I want to know the percentage change in nominal GDP, percentage change in real GDP, and the percentage change in the GDP deflator between 2001 and 2005. We'll define the percentage change in nominal GDP. I always take the newer number of nominal GDP minus the older number of nominal GDP divided by the older number of nominal GDP. So here's my nominal GDP, so I'm using this number and this number. And I take the newer number minus the old number divided by the old number. So I go 1656 minus the old number, 939, divided by the old number, 939, multiplied by 100. And if you do that, you should get 76.4%. So nominal GDP grew by 76.4% between 2001 and 2005. For real GDP, I take real GDP in 2005 minus real GDP in 2001 divided by real GDP in 2001. Or I take 1656 minus 1502 divided by 1502, and then I multiply it by 100 to get it into a percent. And if I do that, I should come up with 10.3%. So overall, we produced 10.3% more stuff in 2005 than we did in 2001. Or our production grew by 10.3% over those 4 years. That's real GDP. Then going back to our nominal GDP, we want to find how much did prices change between 2001 and 2005. So we take our GDP deflator in 2005 minus our GDP deflator in 2001 divided by our GDP deflator in 2001. So we take 100 minus 62.5, and a lot of people would just say that take this and multiply it by 100, but that's incorrect. You have to divide by the old number, which is 62.5. We don't divide by 100. And then we multiply this by 100. So the most common mistake is people would put 31.5% here, and that's incorrect, or not 31, 37.5% here, and that's incorrect, because if you divide by 62.5 instead of by 100, you will get inflation of 60%. So overall, prices grew by 60% between 2001 and 2005. Okay, so overall, if I give you a table, you can solve for, can you solve for nominal GDP, real GDP? Can you solve for the GDP deflator? Can you find percentage change? Okay, if I gave you nominal GDP and the GDP deflator, could you solve for real GDP? If I gave you real GDP and the GDP deflator, could you solve for nominal GDP using the formula? Okay, and then overall, you can find percentage change. So those are, that's basically the bulk of the problems that you'll encounter using GDP.